It's always Gold FM for us at Golden Point, Raki Raki.
Gold FM is #1 in Lusaka.
Gold FM is Nandi's best radio station.
It's always Gold FM with us here in Singatoka.
Old is gold, and Gold FM is #1 here in Lautoka.
Singatoka loves classic hits on Gold FM.
We listen to Gold FM here in Tagua.
We love Gold FM in Ba.
We've got beautiful beaches, people, and Gold FM in Raki Raki.
Lautoka loves the classic hits on Gold FM.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
In this bulletin, no hate speech. Media Industry Development Authority warns media outlets. Woman pleads guilty to murder of a mother and her 7-month-old baby. And Fiji launches its first copy of the Constitution in Braille. Good evening, I'm Jackie Spate and this is FBC News. Media organisations have been warned to be wary of hate speech in the lead-up to the general elections. Mikalonga reports the warning comes after the airing of certain parts of a speech by Thai-level chief Ratu Timothy Vesikula by Fiji television on Tuesday, which has been viewed as having serious implications on racial tolerance and peace.
It's the statement by Ratu Timothy Vesikula to Prime Minister Purangam Bainimarama at Tuesday's Thai-level Provincial Council meeting that's caught the attention of media watchdog Maida.
I'm quite perturbed at the level of public discourse in Fiji as we head towards the national elections. Masquerading itself as an exercise in freedom of expression, political discourse has in fact descended to unabashed racial vilification, and in some instances its content is tantamount to injurious or hate speech. What is even more disconcerting is the complicity of select Fijian journalists and the media, either wittingly or those that remain oblivious to the laws of Fiji despite several awareness workshops on the Crimes Decree, the Media Industry Development Decree, and the Constitution. That's not the way journalists should be conducting themselves.
The Media Industry Development Authority's immediate measure against Fiji TV is to order a retraction of the story and show a full recording of today's media briefing. The MIDA chairman will meanwhile deliberate the possibility of fining Fiji TV an amount not exceeding $100,000.
Fines will not change minds. The media industry in this country needs to grow up. It needs to do its job seriously. It needs to read the laws. I don't care how much time it takes. Read the laws. Internalize it. Become intimate with it. Engage with it, because it has got consequences. I'm friends with nobody.
The MIDA chairman says it will not tolerate irresponsible reporting by the media anymore.
Enough is enough. I've had 6 or 7 months on this job. I've tried to appeal to everybody. Now it's time to lay down the law. We're not friends with government. We're not friends with political parties. We're not friends with respective journalists and media outlets. We're not friends with the members of the public.
The media watchdog advises members of the public to be cautious when making public speeches.
Freedom of speech, expression and thought, opinion and publication does not protect a advocacy of hatred that one is based on any prohibited ground of discrimination listed or prescribed under Section 26, and 2 constitutes incitement to cause harm. And I want the media to take full cognizance of Section 26 of our Constitution.
The media watchdog has warned members of the media against people who make hate speeches and has warned everyone that our laws are intolerant towards such behavior. Fiji TV is here to respond to our attempts to get a comment from them about the matter. Mikalonga, FBC News.
In the Lautoka High Court today, a 22-year-old woman pleaded guilty to 2 counts of murder and 3 counts of attempted murder. Priyadarshini was charged in the deadly attacks that took place at FBC in Lautoka last December. Each charge was read out individually in court. She pleaded guilty to the murders of 33-year-old Taufa Patolo and her 7-month-old daughter Sarah Patolo. Darshini then pleaded guilty to the attempted murders of 5-year-old twins Angelina and Grace Patolo and 3-year-old Anna Patolo. State lawyers will file their summary of facts tomorrow. 1 person died and 3 others were hospitalized following a head-on collision between a van and a bus at Marine Drive in Lami this morning. The person killed was traveling in a white carrier with 3 others when it allegedly veered from its lane and collided with a bus in the opposite lane. Vosita Kote Wasawasa reports.
Police investigators are now waiting for the carrier driver to wake up so they can continue their investigation.
The information that we have at this stage is that the driver tried to avoid the vehicle that was in front of him, and allegedly that's what caused him to swerve onto the opposite lane and thus resulting in the head-on collision with the oncoming bus.
Shaw Bus Company Director Jasper Singh says according to his driver, the 3-ton van was speeding.
Our bus was on its way to do the first trip at about 6:30 a.m. It was empty. While coming up Vatuvia Road, he noticed a white 3-ton van coming from the opposite direction heading towards Suva very fast, and there's a car in front of it. So the car in front of it stopped, and he had to apply, the van behind had to apply the brakes suddenly. But because he was fast, he could not stop, and I think he was trying to avoid an accident in front. He swerved in the opposite direct lane, that's hitting the oncoming bus.
Police are once again reminding drivers to remain cautious while on the roads and to follow road rules to avoid such scenarios. Vosita Kote Wasawasa, FBC News.
For the first time in the country's history, visually impaired people can now read our Constitution. The Constitution is now printed in Braille in both Itauke and English, while the Hindi version is being prepared in India. Eleanor Tarangai View has more.
By accessible.
14-year-old Josiah Sungevanua is eager to read the 2013 Constitution now that it's available to him in the language he understands.
I want to thank the government's efforts in translating the Constitution into the Braille format, which we, visually impaired individuals, can use to better know and understand the laws of Fiji.
There are approximately 8,000 blind or visually impaired people in the country, roughly 1% of the population. Now, no one is left out of having access to the supreme law of the land.
Why did we go to the trouble of making this version? Why did hundreds of hours and many thousands of dollars go into providing something for a relatively small segment of the population? Just about 1% of all Fijians. The answer is simple. It's because my government believes that everyone, no matter who they are, deserves to have access to our Constitution.
22-year-old Andrew Rangevi was born blind. He plans to read and reread the Constitution to know it better and to pass time at home.
It's a good opportunity for us to read and learn about the laws of our country.
The translation of the Itauke and English versions of the Constitution into Braille was done in New Zealand. Copies are available at the School for the Blind in Watuanga. Eleanor Tarangai View, FBC News.
Warengem Bainimarama has begun collecting the 5,000 signatures required to register his proposed Fiji First Party. Bainimarama, currently on leave as Prime Minister, started gathering the required signatures today in Lauvala Beach Estate outside Suva. He also needs to collect a sum of $5,005 to register the proposed party. Bainimarama has said he will register his proposed political party later this month. Still to come on FBC News, Elections Office extends voter registration to other countries.
Old Town Tower में it's only Mirchi FM. Mirchi FM is hot.
ताकि हर घर में खाली मिर्ची FM बजे. Mirchi FM it's hot.
Best sound, best music, Mirchi FM rocks and records.
Nani का #1 station है Mirchi FM.
Mirchi FM is hot. Mirchi FM it's #1 in nursery.
Mirchi FM is hot. हम लोग Mirchi FM रोज सुनता है. Mirchi FM जागो मामा.
Mirchi FM it's hot.
देश की धड़कन रेडियो फीजी 2 is #1 in सिंगटोका।
मैं लंबासा के निवासी, मेरा नाम प्रेम चंद्रा है। देश की धड़कन रेडियो फीजी 2 को मेरा सलाम।
नैंडी में देश की धड़कन रेडियो फीजी 2।
रेडियो फीजी 2 में देश की धड़कन मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगता है।
रेडियो फीजी 2 is #1 in सिंगटोका।
नैंडी में मेरा धड़कन है रेडियो फीजी 2।
हम ननुपुर की रहता है और हम रेडियो फीजी 2 हरदम सुनता है।
हमें रेडियो फीजी 2 सुनो बहुत अच्छा लगे। आप भी रेडियो फीजी 2 सुनो।
देश की धड़कन रेडियो फीजी 2।
Welcome back. This is FBC News. Suva High Court Judge Justice Paul Madigan will sum up the case of Labour Party leader Mahendra Chaudhry tomorrow morning. Both the state and Chaudhry's lawyers closed their cases today after 2 days in court. Chanel Sivan has been following the case.
Chaudhry today indicated he will not be producing any witness to prove him not guilty. Neither would he take the stand to testify his innocence. While addressing the assessor, state lawyer QC Clive Grossman told it is very clear that Chaudhry is guilty. He highlighted that it was Chaudhry's duty to declare his funds and obtain the approval of the Reserve Bank of Fiji to open an overseas account. He says Chaudhry cannot deny he was not aware of the law as he was a Minister for Finance. QC Grossman stated that despite knowing the law, Chaudhry delayed his investment, approved investments overseas and did not bring the foreign funds to Fiji. He said Chaudhry was not an authorized dealer of the funds but kept it for his own benefit in Australia. Under Fiji's law, every person is entitled to foreign currency and shall offer it for sale to an authorized dealer. An authorized dealer is an institution licensed by the Reserve Bank of Fiji. In his submission to the assessors, Chaudhry's lawyer QC Peter Bodo questioned how his client could become the Minister for Finance in 2007 if he had breached the Exchange Control Act as claimed by the state. He stressed why wasn't this pointed out in the government and why the RBF did not inform Chaudhry then of his offence. He said this was a question of good governance. QC Bodo said his client had admitted he had the money and was given to him to move his family to Australia after the political upheaval in 2000. He said this case was not a case of corruption as his client had properly obtained the money and the transaction had nothing to do with Fiji. Judge Justice Paul Madigan will sum up the case, after which the assessors will give their verdict at 10 a.m. tomorrow. Chanel Shivan, FBC News.
The Elections Office is now expanding its overseas voter registration to other countries. Elections Supervisor Mohammed Saneem says thanks to the overseas registration drive, Fijians living abroad will get a chance to vote in the 2014 general elections. Shireen Lata reports.
The Elections Office is currently working with the Fijian High Commission in various countries to finalize details and venues to register voters living abroad. This includes countries like Dubai, United Kingdom, United States of America, Canada and Papua New Guinea. The elections officials will be registering voters in these countries from the 5th to 17th of May.
The needs and demands of every country are different, and hence we will do a custom program for each country, working with our people on the ground, that is the High Commissions.
Saneem is calling on all Fijian citizens living abroad who want to register in the 2014 general elections to submit an expression of interest online via their website, which is www.electionsfiji.gov.fj.
We are planning to have a postal vote through a transmission envelope in which you put another envelope that contains your ballot, and that is brought to Fiji. Verification is done on the transmission envelope, and the envelope that carries your vote is placed inside the ballot box, and it's going to be opened when counting starts at 6 p.m. on election day, 17th September.
The Elections Office has already had a pilot program of voter registration in Australia and New Zealand, and around 1,200 voters were registered from these two countries. Shireen Lata, FBC News.
Girls between the ages of 17 and 24 are being invited to audition for the Miss World Fiji pageant later this month. The auditions will be at Tapu City in Suva on April 25th and 26th. Organisers say their goal is not only to win the Miss World title, but to also bring the worldwide event to Fiji. They have received interest from the Miss World organisers to hold the event in Fiji.
The difference with the event this year is that we're trying to take the event to a new level. We really like to thank the previous year's people that are involved for bringing the event to the level it was at, but we've now involved an international company as well to help us take it to the next level. What that means is this year we're looking for a Miss World Fiji, not Miss World Fiji, we're looking for the Miss World to represent and become Miss World.
Sports now, and here's Jamie with the latest.
Thanks, Jackie, and good evening. Coming up, teams begin to arrive for OFC Champions League and more from Athletics Fiji.
is awesome in Ba. We love you, Today FM.
Today FM rocks in the story and I love listening to Today FM.
Today FM is #1 in Telev.
Today FM rocks in Lotaka. Woohoo!
Today FM is the most popular station in the scene.
We love everything about Today FM here at Golden Point Reki Reki.
Everybody in Singatoka loves Today FM.
Today FM rocks in Ba.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
Bulan 2 sa Tolu FM, enapan 2 Raki-Raki.
Bula FM namban 2 in Nosor.
Go etabo ke boto kola sa Bula FM nga.
Bula FM nampan 2 Korbu.
Bula FM namban 2 Sawa.
Bula FM namban 2 Latoka. Bula.
Nampan 2 ng Bula FM member.
Bula FM
nampan 2 NSR in Singapore.
Lo talita ka warong ng Bula FM lo toka.
Ali akar warong Bula FM nampan 2 NSR.
Bula FM namban 2 NSR.
Welcome back to FBC Sports. Concerns have been raised regarding ongoing meetings about establishing a second Athletics Fiji organization. IAAF appointed mediator Dr. Robin Mitchell has urged all involved to put aside their differences. He wants them to work with the 2014 elected Athletics Fiji executives to protect the athletes and the sport. Elaine McDonald reports some in athletics refused to abide by Mitchell's latest statement.
Up until late last year, it was only...
As mediator, Mitchell has advised that all issues that led to the split in Athletics Fiji since December 2013 will still have to be resolved by members, but at an appropriate time.
One of the reasons to why we didn't attend that AGM is, one, we had an SGM and we had decided on the date. Secondly, we didn't just want to attend an AGM just to elect, because one, the members had spoken up and the elections had taken place.
Despite 4 confirmed legal opinions recognizing the validity of the 2008 Constitution, a handful of members disagree. They also refuse to recognize the official appointment of Dr. Robin Mitchell as mediator by the IAAF.
We've asked for terms of reference, right? Because at the end of the day, I can turn up and say I've got an IAAF affiliation to be a mediator. But also it's a two-way stream. First of all, you need to give the federation the opportunity to work through their own problems.
Were you aware of that or heard any inkling of it?
Okay, see, with suspension, please don't threaten AF with suspension, because the constitution for IAAF is very explicit on what we should do to remain members.
Simply put, some common ground needs to be found, and quickly.
Okay. You can't just let people get away unaccountable for these things.
And that's just it. Accountability and transparency are the crux of the matter. How far will those who disagree go, and how much damage will that mean to the sport? Mitchell will file his official report to the IAAF this week. Elena McDonald, FBC Sports.
A Shadow Fiji side will compete in the 27th Fiji Bitter Namaka Sevens tournament in Nadi next weekend. The side will feature players from the extended national squad that impressed coach Ben Ryan during the Mara Sevens. This includes former reps Tone Vota, Mosese Mawalu, Vilame Mata and John Stewart.
I'm very proud of the boys that played, 14 of them that played in Tokyo and Hong Kong. If you think Jassa and Leo that missed out in Hong Kong, all those are going to put their hand up strongly for selection. And also we've got people like Viliami Mata who should be back fit, and 1 or 2 others that have been on the fringes. So, like I say, pick on form. They'll all get a chance to rest this week. The extended squad train next week. I'll watch Nawaka Sevens. There will be quite a few of our boys that won't be playing in Nawaka because of their injuries and their rest times. But they give a chance for everyone else. And then the squad will get selected on form for Glasgow and London.
The tournament gets underway next Friday. The Tefea Football Club was the first overseas team to arrive for the OFC Champions League after touching down at Nadi International Airport this afternoon. The Vanuatu club is pooled with Vodafone Ba, New Caledonia's AS Magenta and Hekari United from PNG. The side has the services of former Suva striker Joseph Nimariau and Robert Tasso, who played for Rewa last year. Tefea will play its first game against Hekari United on April 7th at Bas Govin Park. Organizers of the Easter Basketball Championship have decided to increase the prize money for this year's tournament. This is done with the hope of raising the level of competition. Chalendau Dakdaka has more.
34 teams will converge at Vodafone Arena in Suva for the annual Easter Basketball Championships. A hike in the prize money from $1,000 to $2,000 has been done to lift the standard of competition.
The idea about increasing the prize money is to try and promote or encourage competition within the tournament, and hopefully that will be a good incentive for clubs to come well prepared come the event.
3 international teams, New Caledonia, Papua New Guinea and Vanuatu, were earmarked to compete, but so far only one has been confirmed.
The New Caledonia team is SS1. They're the national men's champion from New Caledonia, and at the moment they're the only lone confirmed international team.
The 6-day tournament begins on the 14th of this month and will see premier teams go to battle for the title of Fiji's basketball champions. Chalendo Dakadak, FBC Sports.
The 6 teams in the Lao Division cricket qualifiers failed to impress Cricket Fiji officials after the first 4 days of competition in Suva. Cricket Fiji's high-performance manager Joe Rika says they have seen weakness in the teams taking part. However, he believes they can be improved as the season progresses, but feels players have to step up their performance if they want to be selected for the national team.
Our main focus obviously with Fiji Cricket is building a strong side for 50 over World Cup qualifiers late in the year. This is a great opportunity for the island players who get limited opportunity to play against the teams here, and there's obviously some of the best players in the country are based now in Suva. This is a good opportunity for these island teams to challenge these players and fight for and stake a claim for the national side.
That is your sports for tonight. Good evening.
Complaints from landlords and tenants always top the list of grievances filed with the Commerce Commission. Now there are new self-regulating guidelines for landlords and tenants that should ensure these grievances are resolved. Ritika Pratap reports.
It has been found the majority of the complaints arise due to lack of understanding by one or both parties about relevant issues attached to tenancies.
We have decided to provide a guideline which will ensure that if followed through, pretty much remove all these issues that we kind of see now. A guideline which allow them to self-regulate, and we don't have to intervene or interfere.
Increasing rent during the rental freeze, illegal and forceful evictions, harassment, failure to release bond money, and not issuing receipts and tenancy agreements are some of the complaints against landlords. While not paying rents, utility bills, damaging properties, and subletting properties without the consent of landlords are some of the complaints against tenants. The self-regulating guideline will now iron out these issues.
Landlords go through this self-regulating guideline in detail, as well as the tenants, because they will know what their obligations are and landlords what their obligations are.
The new regulation comes into effect on the 1st of May when monitoring starts. Landlords and tenants are now given time to comply with the guideline.
It's good for us tenants, for we can solve this kind of problem. We hate another one, we take it to the police, so this one is good for us, it's in the guideline.
I think it's good because it's good for the tenant and the landlord.
Between 2010 and 2013, the Commerce Commission processed 795 formal complaints on tenancy issues and 1,115 informal complaints and queries. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
And we've got Jen up next with weather.
Hi Jackie, the situation right now is that a trough of low pressure with associated cloud and rain to the north of Fiji is expected to move south and will start affecting the group from tomorrow. We had some showers today over the eastern parts and interior of the larger islands, while elsewhere it was fine apart from isolated afternoon showers. Evening showers are also expected, so be prepared for that. Time for temperatures, we've got Nandi, Ba and Lautoka on 31, Lambasa and Savu on 30, and Suva on 29 degrees Celsius. Looking at tomorrow's weather, rain and thunderstorms are likely to develop over the northern parts of Fiji, and gradually spread to the rest of the group. Isolated heavy falls are also expected, with moderate east to southeast winds, fresh at times, and moderate to rough seas. Now for our photo, and it's this stunning waterfall in Kandavu village, Kandavu, that caught my attention today. Throwing a couple of facts your way, Kandavu, with an area of 411 square kilometers, is the 4th largest island in Fiji. Oh, and they have a breathtaking waterfall.
Thanks so much for that, Genevieve. A recap of our main stories tonight. No hate speech. Media Industry Development Authority warns media outlets. Woman pleads guilty to murder of a mother and her 7-month-old baby. And Fiji launches its first copy of the Constitution in Braille. This week's poll question, we're asking, should women form their own political party to contest the September 17th elections? Visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or simply hashtag FBC News. That's news for tonight. Join us again at the same time tomorrow. Nimo the Mamba.
Talita na radio Fiji One na mwira ni nondo bonua.
Ando talita kana borro na radio Fiji One singa toka mbuleta ni station ni alumatu.
Ando talita ka bale una borro na radio Fiji One station ni alumatu elo toka.
Ando talita ka bale una borro na radio Fiji One mandi na station ni alumatu.
Au tu ngoi korbo. Ando borro mo leve na station ni alumatu na radio Fiji One.
Ando borro na radio Fiji One na station ni alumatu. Nambandoi tele.